One, and we are recording episode 910. So close to 9/11. So close. I did 420 on 420 last year, and I tried to get 9/11 on 9/11, and it was too close. And I was like, I gotta, the meme lore can only be so valuable before I put up shit episodes. But Joe Dolio's been on here before. Ron Moeller's been on here before. Clay Martin's been on here before. And as we just talked about, I'm sure Patriot Front's watching. So, hey, faggots, email me back. And I know you guys want to come on. I'll do it. So with that, with Patriot Front wanting to come on here, and with Biden seemingly giving a strong Reichsleiter speech, short of Jeden das eine and Arbeit macht frei. How fucked is everything? And Ron, you've got seniority, so why don't you give us the level of fucked from pretty fucked to apocalypse?
Well, we're not quite at apocalypse now, but I guess what gets me is that most people, the majority of Americans, they're just walking around in a daze like everything's normal. It's, it's just politics as usual. No big deal. That's Washington. Nobody cares. It's either blissful ignorance or just, I'm not sure what.
So let's play devil's advocate then. Is any part of this politics as usual, with just the twist of we are in a time never before in human history, specifically the last 200. I know I'll get to you, Clay. Well, in the last 250 years, that everyone has a phone that we can constantly be inundated with second by second update tweets, or is that coping? Is that me on the edge of the Titanic going like, the band would still be playing music if everything was wrong? Like, and it's like, well, hey, fucking retard, that's why they're playing music. But Clay, you look like you're chomping at the bit, Clay. So what do you have to say?
Yeah. I mean, politics is normal when 300 years after the empire fell for Rome too. So I kind of feel like maybe we're actually past that. We're in the loot phase of the empire collapse, I think is the right answer. Most importantly, to your question with Patriot Front up front, did anybody check the Inflation Reduction Act? Did they get more funding?
Did Patriot Front?
I think 87,000 more people.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they got 87,000 new agents. Yeah.
There's like look at all the nice shields they have. They're ready to roll.
Stuff is really good.
How long until a video comes out, a new, it's going to be like how there's like the Patriot Front training videos, like, are we finished recording? We are, Sig Heil. And it's like, no one, not even douchebag frat boys trying to be edgy say that. And then you have all the IRS training videos, or RA, I guess IRS under IRA, and it looks like the front of a modern history book, just inclusive, like a black guy in a wheelchair, like a fat Asian chick, and they're all holding pistols. You got to wonder how long until they start to get their wires crossed and get sloppy, and it starts being like an immigrant in a wheelchair with an IRS vest on. And goes, are we finished recording? Like, all right, Sig Heil. Right? They're gonna start crossing.
What's funny
wires.
About that whole thing is when you look at the whole video rather than the clip showed, like when they're reading the scenarios, like where they tackle this one guy and basically beat him to the ground. They're like, the scenario is this guy runs his own car business and he made a mistake on his tax form, and they just literally beat him down at gunpoint. Like, what?
There was another one where they were going after a dude that they said the scenario was he was a lawn guy. He ran a lawn crew and he didn't show where he'd be able to pay for his trucks. You're like, are you insane, man? Like, come on. What are you gonna get that guy with like $1,000 in taxes that he evaded? Come on, man.
They're gonna slip up. They're gonna slip up when they're big. In this scenario, this field worker's left the plantation and it has the audacity to think he can go get his own job.
Yeah, right.
To have Calvin Candy.
The thing about the Patriot Front is the week before that speech is when all these leaked videos from Michigan, of course, Michigan, right? Because they would have to make it Michigan, came out. Then his speech happened, and we did a live stream, Ron and I was like, listen, I'm going to tell you, by Saturday night, Patriot Front will make an appearance. And lo and behold, Patriot Front makes an appearance in Indianapolis. What a surprise. It's almost like you can predict it.
Yeah. Amazing. Do you think this is actually this is like a frat for new FBI agents? Like they got to be in a Patriot Front thing when they're like new at the academy, and then later on they laugh at them and shit. They get badged in and they're done. They're
getting hazed. It's 100. It's like what Tim Dillon said about anthrax. He goes 9/11. He goes 9/11 was the A team. That was the coup. He goes, but anthrax was so botched, and he goes, it was the B team. It was a bunch of fucking mouth breathers going, hey, I want to do something, boss. put me in. And they're like, all right, send this anthrax to this senator. And then they go up and smack them. And it's like, you fucking, if I had the leads you had when I was your age, I would have taken the country over in a night. I want to do something, but this is what it is. It's a bunch of the B squad. Ron.
Well, and I'll tell you, Ron knows all about that.
Yeah, Ron,
I'll tell you, we had some impact on him though, because after our podcast, Tommy, where we mentioned that they have no more than 15% body weight distribution across them.
I'm trying to get down to that. I mean, Christ, give credit where credit's due.
All of a sudden, they started having token fat guys in their thing. Like, oh, there's one. See,
oh my God, have we done it?
They were wrong.
Have we started to
token
pressure
fat
them?
Guy. He's the portable HESCO barrier.
That's cold, man.
Do you think what we could start? Well, let's use that power then. Have we seen any black guys in Patriot Front? Have we seen any women?
One actually in the Michigan video.
Well, I was gonna say let's start pressuring them about not being inclusive. I wonder if
I want to see a Shield Maiden Brigade with the shields and and the whole thing, and maybe they can do the what's the New Zealand war chant before the games?
The Maori thing with
the haka.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing the dance with the
Macarena.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I can't help myself. I can't help myself.
It is kind of fascinating, kind of like what Chad or Chaz, whatever the outpost was in Washington. Yeah, and how like it was like a time lapse. You're seeing those like nature time lapses where it's you see the tree blossom, it gets hot, and then it comes down snow, and it's just like real quick and everything's shaking. Chad was fascinating in that it was a time lapse of a communist nation. Like very quickly, like the wall went up. Very quickly, they had their own militant forces. Very quickly, they were trying to grow potatoes. Then there was a rape, a murder, and then it collapsed. But it happened in like 3 days. It was fascinating.
In like 3 days.
Yeah.
What's funny is they take over this area to protest the police killing innocent, unarmed protesters. Then immediately appointed their own police and immediately started killing unarmed protesters.
Well, yeah. And so you gotta wonder: are we gonna start seeing like a hyper time lapse of Patriot Front evolving, right? It started with just matching uniforms, right? So like group solidarity. Then now they're moving to matching shields. I can only imagine soon it will be like phalanx maneuvers. So right now we're in ancient Rome. I want to see how fast is it going to start accelerating. They're going to start doing the spears and then the catapults, like a trebuchet, eventually like heavier than air flight. I think we're moving towards that. I don't
have the German helmets with the spike on it by the end of the week.
Chlorine gas. Then it's going to blow back at them, and then they're going to cut out biological warfare.
You don't see the German spike helmets anymore. That's a good aesthetic.
The pickle
helmet.
They should bring that back.
They should bring that back. That'd be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, they're really heavy. They're really heavy.
We joke about it, but it's actually a serious point. Clay and Ron.
Well, it is. It's on the.
It is. It's a very serious point.
That's a good point. But like Clay and Ron both served, and if I told 10 service members to all show up in a particular uniform on a certain day, at least 4 of them are going to be wearing the wrong gear, right? I mean, that's just your experience, right?
Yeah.
But that never happens with Patriot Front. I wonder why.
This very podcast we're doing we've had to reschedule a couple times because I've had problems, Ron's had problems. I think, and then I added Joe in, and we can't do this from our living rooms coordinated. And two of you have served, right? Yeah. We can't fucking get this together.
No, I think all 3 of us have served it, so.
All 3 of us have.
Yo, you have? Oh, I thought, well, you just said earlier, you two.
I mean, it was the Air Force, but it does count.
All right. Yeah,
wait a minute. Oh, there.
There it goes.
I get that a lot from Ron.
Well, you're number 1.
Yeah. Well, all right, fair enough.
Well, now it's important to remember, though, Tommy, that the Patriot Front does have an awesome wardrobe department and a wardrobe coordinator, and they will not go out in public until they're fully, produced and properly attired.
I mean,
so
again, I'll give credit where credit's due. They look great.
Ron, do you think that they have like an ex-Marine NCO that's not actually part, but he's behind, he's contract, he's behind the scenes, he's giving them inspections, like they line up like little lance corporals with their hands and shit, and he's like, tuck the shirt in, get that belt dressed. It kind of feels like it.
100%.
It's probably like Corporal Payne, Major Payne's younger illegitimate half brother.
Man, Clay said dress right, and I immediately start looking. I'm like, oh, I got
so Well, my mind then always starts to shift. Is like, if it's this obvious, if we're just sitting here just making fun of them, I always start to think like, I think the vast majority. I used to think they were purely competent and malicious in government. Now I actually do kind of believe they're slightly retarded, but I also still believe there are a lot of very competent, malicious people.
Oh yeah.
So if it's this easy, and everyone, I mean, it's not even like a conspiracy. Everyone's like, yeah, dude, Patriot Front is. Even my most liberal friends are like, yeah, that's fucking retarded. What's really going on then? Why are we seeing this?
Well,
Is there someone happy that we're taking the bait and looking down on them? Is it the magician's assistant? What's going on the other hand?
I think the point is they're not trying to convince you and me and Ron and Clay. They're trying to convince people who already want to believe it, which is their own people, who already think that we're all terrorists and that we all want to put people back in chains and that we all want to do all these horrible things. Completely untrue, but they're not trying to convince us. What they're trying to do is justify to the others exuding violence against us. And you can say all you want that that's hyperbole. I watched that speech live, and so did Ron. And that man wants some harm done to the other side of the aisle.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh no. I mean, I know it's a tired analogy of everyone I don't like is Hitler, but I mean, you really want to walk through. Like, I'm reading right now KL by Nicholas Foshman. I think it's going to be the longest ever audiobook I've listened to, but it's a complete breakdown of the Nazi concentration camps from 33 through 45. Has nothing to do with the war, has nothing to do. It's just how it happened internally. They don't give a shit about who liberated it or what was going on in the world. It's just how it arose. And I never knew this. I always thought it was just they started training them in and burning them. There was like 6 years where if you went, you were only held for like a day or two at a time. You could drink gin and like play cards with the guards. It like it was a slap on the wrist. It was detention. And
wow.
So when I look at, yes, and that's far more terrifying than a bunch of evil Nazis. Well, it's like, yeah, of course they're evil, because then you can just go, oh, they're demons. Of course they do this. No. You'd go there. It was like getting put in the drunk tank. You come out the next day like, all right. And when there was a beating, the actual chancellery would send official police, because this is before the Schutzstaffel and the SA. They'd send police into like the concentration camps, and they would be a fucking like top down, like, all right, we're bringing in all the cops with the body cam. We're doing an internal review. Like, their heads would roll. You'd get in trouble. And it was years. And then finally, there was the first death. But once the Overton window had shifted, it was the same thing. Like, the chancellor would come and there's a whole government investigation. What are you doing? Like, we're the German people. We're a progressive society. These things were like put on hold. Like, funding was cut. Like, internally, like special investigators. Like, that's horrifying. It didn't just immediately Auschwitz in like skin lamps. It started as, I mean, you go in there and just smoking cigarette, and they'd be talking with the guards and like, oh, dude, we went to fucking middle school together. And it's like, yeah, but you're a communist. And they'd be like, you got me. And like, that was it. And it progressed to now you go and you can just go see, was it Himmler talking about how we used hammers to beat the golden teeth out of the Jews, and it took us a couple of years to realize it was better to do after the gas chambers, because beforehand they'd struggle, versus afterwards when their bodies were still warm, it was easier to just knock them out. It didn't happen overnight. And so I know it's a tired analogy, and I know we just got out of 4 years of Drumpf literally Hitler, but man, you go up there and you're starting to dial just a little more. These people are a threat.
Mm-hmm.
They're a threat to our country. They're not clean. I mean, literally unvaccinated. They're not clean. They're not pure. That's where we're getting. I know I'm rambling. Otto Ambros, the chemist, would always talk about he made rubber for the Third Reich, and he'd always talk about the importance of purity. And even one little piece of dust could lead to a blowout on the Autobahn, which could, stop a whole convoy. He would go on to say, like, it is very important that everything is clean. And like, with no mercy, you make sure the system is clean. And he's obviously talking about the Third Reich. I mean, we're echoing it from unclean to otherizing to the Inflation Reduction Act. that is a Schutzstaffel, an SA, going to Trump's house and going to Mar-a-Lago with the FBI. It's inching towards that. And so, like, all jokes aside, like, there's genuine analogies and not just I don't look at the analogy of him screaming like that's or whatever. That's just that's an orator. I don't whatever. I don't give a shit. That's how I look when I'm trying to like rev everybody up. That's what I do on this podcast. You take a screen grab from any of these podcasts, I look like I'm fucking in Berlin trying to get the army going. But what he's actually saying, the actual words he's saying, the physical legislation he's creating, call it the IRS, all right, whatever. And the SS was the Personal Protection Squad. You can call it whatever you want. It's a new arm of armed individuals to carry out your will, to physically impose it on people. We are moving towards that.
Well, we're already there. I mean, we it may not be Auschwitz or Buchenwald or Dachau, but we do have our version of the Bastille. We have the Washington Metropolitan Jail. And we have our January 6th, unfortunates that have been held for over a year.
They've been held for longer than the maximum possible sentence for what they have done.
Oh yeah. And it's just and it seems like nobody cares. Yeah, it's a damn shame.
On our channel, we talk a lot about a book called Ordinary Men. And it's about German military police in World War II. And when it goes to the point you were just making, Tommy, that when they first started, they believed in their cause. They believed they were going to be police officers protecting the rear area, and they did a great job of protecting the little town they were in. But when it came time to kill the first rebel, they really struggled with it, and they had a little bit of an issue with it. And then one of them finally did it. And then the next guy, and then the next guy. And over the course of the war, these guys went from not wanting to be involved in this at all to at the end, they were just mass executing large numbers of civilians because they wanted to, right? That slippery slope is very dangerous, and it's impossible to bring people back from. And I think that a long time ago, we crossed a point of no return. Right now, we're just going through the motions. Like Ron said, so many people are in this normalcy bias that, that's just political talk. There's literally no one talking about reconciliation, just like there's no one talking about peace between Ukraine and Russia. There's literally no way back from the edge we're at here.
I mean, those are both very good points. And I think this is something we all try to check ourselves on too. Like, is my tinfoil hat getting too big? Is what I'm thinking aware. Crazy? Right. And I think it's especially easy to do, like you said, when we had the 4 years of, Trump is Hitler from the lefties. Right. But I have really felt like, especially in the last 4 months, like we've seen a serious acceleration towards, just like Joe was saying, there a point of no return. I think we passed it a while ago too. But everything about what they're doing right now points to an acceleration, up to and including, you kind of blew it off at just the way that old Joey Boy looked during the speech. I didn't watch the speech because I'm past that point in my life. But when the pictures came out, I was like, that's a joke. Like somebody's making memes here. I didn't know they actually picked those optics. That matters. That was insane.
What's funny is we watched it again the next morning, and we noticed that as the show went on, CNN realized how bad it looked.
They started reducing the saturation. You can see them
trying to dial back the color saturation and make it look pinker than it was. Man,
that stuff that's crazy, man.
That's now full devil's advocate, because again, we all, I would say, pretty much lean the same way. And Clay's right. You do have to step outside your mind and start looking at it. It's so, and that's hard to do because you're in your own mind. But devil's advocate, you uncrop it. It was red, white, and blue, and you have a bunch of people saying, and he has it was red, white, and blue. If you zoom out and look at the whole Independence Hall, it just looks like the fucking White House on 4th of July or whatever. He has Marines next to him. Oh, the Marines shouldn't be. There are Marines in every picture of every president.
The Marines were pretty far back, though. It's just the way the photo was.
That's what I mean. So, but I'm trying to pick apart my own side, because my first is like, it's red and there's Marines. Like, that's bad.
But what was missing from the photo and from the background, Tommy? What was missing? What didn't anybody see?
The flag.
Exactly. No, not a single American flag.
But you saw shock troopers, America's shock troopers standing there. And as a Marine, I'm sure Clay feels the same way. I'm absolutely disgusted that the commandant allowed them to be used in that way.
But is there not photos of every speech of every? I'm just going to play devil's advocate here because I'm a total beta faggot. But are there not pictures of? Can you not find a picture of any president from any time and not see the guys in their crisp suits?
Marines
There-
do
there
not
are
travel with the
speeches.
president.
Yeah, exactly. That
What
you
about
normally,
What about augmentation group? What about augmentation group? Because I've interviewed Marines who did travel with George Bush.
There are Marines, like when you see it at the
But
White
they're not
House or
dress
some
blues.
or some
Fair,
big
fair,
ceremony.
fair
but,
enough. Fair enough. No.
But I mean, especially in the White House, you'll see them like because they guard the entrance to the West Wing and things like that. But I mean, these guys had to be brought special up from the Marine barracks from 8th and I up there to do this. And you know, again, as Joe said, you know, if the commandant had an inkling of the speech and the way the staging was going to be set, he might have demurred. And darn, those Marines came down with a bad case of
COVID.
venereal disease or something. You know,
Yeah.
whatever Marines suffer from. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know shit.
Again, and I always do this on here. I don't really believe anything I'm saying, but for the sake of us all not sitting here jerking each other off, I have to step outside and take the opposing view. It's always very hard when I have like Dale Comstock on, Delta Force guy, and I'm like, Dale, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. And he's just looking at me. I'm like, please don't fucking kill me. You know this is just a podcast. Like, but
He's just
But
eye fucking you, man.
he
That's
is.
all.
He is. He's just like, he doesn't need to kill me. He's like, I'll get you to kill yourself. And I'm like, I know. But you look at it, okay. Now, as someone that does like Trump, as someone who did vote for him, you know, when he was trying to do that military parade, I thought it was like funny. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was funny, stupid, garish, but I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, yeah, fucking it's a military parade. Fucking libtards are losing their minds. Pivot from there. I mean, if Biden tried to do a military, like, where would my mind be? I'd be like, this is the disgusting show of the politicization of the military. Trump does it. I just, you know, it's fucking Trump. So again, I'm trying to be at the very least a token opposing voice. That's
that's something you should do, and that we all have to do for ourselves. You have to red sell your own stuff. It's not just that, though. It's the acceleration, I feel like, of policies between this inflation reduction stuff, between the IRS thing, between also the fact that they cannot get a hold of inflation, and yet are doing like everything they can to screen it like it didn't happen. Now, I know it's an election year too, but I just really feel like they're trying to hide this long enough to steal everything and let the wheels fall completely off. And I think that's where we're going.
So, again, they may be retarded, but they're also not. You know, people always say they're pushing us to a civil war. They're saying that, and I always go, I don't think you're wrong, but I also don't think they're oblivious to that. I think that they're kind of win any other, like, in their mind, that is the war game. The war game is they won't revolt and will slowly slide into a dictatorship, or you'll have organic rebellion. You won't need to have this Patriot Front thing, in which case they'll be happy, and then they'll have the more public justification to crack down. Either way, and then you step out further, you go, yeah, but that's going to tear the nation apart, and we don't live in a vacuum. We live on a planet with however many other countries. Yeah, I don't think they care about that either. I think they would rather rule over an empire of ashes and have foreign influence than let this thing keep going. Is that a total like black-pilled view?
No,
I'll tell you, this is what I've been telling folks all along, right? Is that you've got two choices. Everyone says, don't take the bait. Oh my gosh, they're trying to trick us into something. Okay, let's say I don't take the bait and I just sit here and I be quiet and I change my public behavior and they continue along on their path. Guess what? Both paths go to the same place. And in one, I have an option to stop it. And in the other, I don't. And I hope that we finish this podcast with them kicking in my door. But the point is this. You can either not resist and get there in 4 years, or you can resist and either stop it or get there in 3.5 years. The point is you're going to end up in the same place. You might as well go down swinging. They tell you that flag right there is a terrorist symbol. You throw it up. They tell you that Mike Glover's group is a terrorist group. You join it. They tell you that NC Scouts patch is a symbol of terrorism, his resistor logo. You put that patch on your kit and you wear it everywhere you go.
Or you read forbidden books written by Joe Dolio and Clay Martin.
Oh yeah,
shameless plug.
Absolutely.
Shameless plug. Pray for
Yeah,
it.
well,
Shameless
since I don't have any products to plug, But and I noticed Clay's in an undisclosed bunker location with his gun
that?
in the corner.
You like the tinfoil? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not
You're
in
in
this
your Faraday
broadcast.
cage. I like that. Yeah, very cool.
I didn't do this on purpose. I was just really cheap when I was building it, and loved it was $1 billion. But
that's the
I
first
do
thing.
like the look now.
That's the first thing Clay said to me.
But
on the first
we're
podcast
talking about
did.
incident. There, it's going to be a spark that's going to happen in the most unlikely of places, and we're seeing, I don't know, like they're testing, like that video that's running around with the ATF guys, talking about, asking the guy about, do you have, we got to report you ordered this, whatever it's solvent or whatever it was,
solvent trap.
Yeah, and thank you. And and I mean, one of these days, some guy's not going to be polite, and he's going to like pop him, and it's it's going to be Ruby Ridge, but this time it won't be Ruby Ridge like it was. It'll be like the people that had the land dispute in Nevada, whose name I
Clive and Bundy.
Thank you. Yeah. Remember when all those people showed up, and the BLM police kind of go, hey, Harry Reid, I don't think we're going to be able to do this.
Yeah, it's probably going to be, it's going to be some veteran that doesn't give a fuck, who's broken.
Or it won't be, or maybe not even a veteran.
Not even a veteran, just some dude
it'll be some dude who's like, some guy who owns way too many guns, and it's exactly inverse. His guns are exactly inverse to the amount of common sense and self-control he has.
It might not. It might not even. Yeah, it might not. He can hear us. It might not even be. It might not even be a false flag. It doesn't even need to be a fucking like a case of terminal illness where he's like, I'm gonna go out. I mean, what do school shooters do? Right? You want that immediate fame. I want to be known. For whatever you get the most kills, you're But
if whatever their timeline is, and I don't think they're incompetent. I think this is all they have an agenda, they have a plan. I mean, they're extraordinarily unified. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's gushing all over Joe today on their little celebratory gig in the Rose Garden or wherever it was. But yeah, and if they don't, there's probably a point, an inflection point somewhere in this plan, this agenda, that, hey, if we haven't been able to, push somebody's buttons, then we'll create
100%. We'll have the asset do what they need to do.
We'll have the reason to do whatever the next step is. I'm going to declare, gun ownership a national security threat to the well-being of the United States. And the Second Amendment was written by a bunch of old white guys who were slave owners, and we're going to start confiscating guns, and then people are really going to have to make a choice. Do I back the blue by giving up my weapons? Are those constitutional sheriffs really going to be constitutional sheriffs? Are we going to have to form little militias? Are we going to do little LGOPs, little groups of paratroopers running around? That sort of thing. I mean, what are we doing?
It's got me thinking about people that, again, everyone wants to not know their names, but the names Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold and fucking Stephen Paddock and who's the Pulse Nike Omar Mateen. We know them all, whether you want to or not. You know them all. They do get what they want, and that's their name. It doesn't seem that far-fetched, and this is something I just thought of a minute ago, is it might not even be a veteran or a left or right-leaning guy. It might just be someone that's like, oh, I'm going to really go down as a name. I'm going to be Gavrilo Princip. I'm going to fucking
highlight a couple of incidents here that bear that out. So we had that guy who walked around shooting the people the other day, right? In
Memphis.
Where was that?
Memphis.
And then we had the two guys making threats. Then we have this young man, Isaiah Williams, in Phoenix, that they want you to forget about. The guy who came out of the hotel and started shooting. He killed a couple of people, shot a couple of cops. He threw a Molotov cocktail against the window. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's on my Twitter feed. I talked about it this morning. You find out that there's no photos attached to this 25-year-old young man. So that should tell you one thing.
Okay.
Except for the fact of him in gear. You got him in gear with the AR and the mask and throwing things, but no photos of the kid from any other time of his life. Parents say he went to college and he got his, film studies degree and couldn't find a job in film studies. Shocking. But But when you read it, he adhered to things that the Black Hebrew Israelites believe. And I've been pointing out all along, these people are literally killing people all the time.
Yeah.
But however, he went out and started shooting and all this stuff. So they're not wanting to tell you about this, but there it is. He met a cab driver who gave him a ride and suggested he read certain books before he went on this attack. That ought to tell you something, right? Who do you suppose that cab driver was? But on another unrelated note, over the weekend here in Metro Detroit, we've had a crew of guys strike 3 gun stores. Well, actually 2 gun stores. One of them they struck twice by driving through the front door, taking all the assault rifles they can and going. They hit one store they hit 2 different stores on Saturday, and they came back Sunday and hit the other store that was still boarded up and still had guns in it. Great job, ATF and local police, watching the building that was not fully secured, full of guns, but whatever. But why are these groups arming? And you hear all these groups talking about getting out and shooting white people. It's becoming okay because of the rhetoric that we're hearing from the news and from politicians and all of that. You're already in a collapse. We're just not acting like it. And I think that you're probably going to see these guns resurface sometimes between now and the election in some street violence.
You know, you might also see, just thought of it now.
Yeah.
It might not even be the idea of some right-wing guy shooting something up. You might have Biden condoning it and grooming it. And then when some left-wing guy goes out and shoots, you don't care if it's left-wing. You go, somebody still went out and shot. Time to crack down. They might be using their own people to do it.
Well, it's not like that hasn't happened before too. You know,
yeah, exactly. The first
thing game, the Google chick.
Yeah. Well, the
Kavanaugh thing. Yeah.
The first thing you do is take out the most competent people on your side. Willing Accomplices by Ken Clisby.
Well, good, then we're safe.
Yeah. They're looking at us and they're like, they're the D team. Like, we'll get them. We get them post. They get us after the radioactivity is leaking through the cities. They're like, go see if any of that tuna is edible. I'm like, gotcha, for God's country. But it makes me think of Ken Clisby. He's a former CIA analyst. His book, Willing Accomplices. And he talks about how the KGB would send, let's say, 10 teams of guys to the United States. We'll just say 10 teams, 10. 7 of them just outright fail. They're either tried or they defected, whatever. They're done. 3 of them will effectively infiltrate a local university or a police station or their superintendent or local politics or whatever. Those groups will get in there. You take the ringleaders of those 3 groups. So, A, B, and C, the guys that fucking got this thing done. You threw out a bunch of seeds. They're the ones that landed and flourished. Now, naturally, in a normal society, a natural selective society, you would say, oh, the cream rises to the top. What the KGB would do is call those 3 back for celebratory condolences, and you get a car, now you can travel. You bring them back and they'd shoot them all in the head in Lubyanka. And it's because they were the ones who were most competent to overthrow the KGB. So anyone on the left that thinks that like you're gonna be part of the Politburo, most of y'all will just die in the process. And the ones of y'all that are lucky enough to achieve it will just be shot in a more formal manner. Like there's no winning here.
You didn't want to be in, Stalin's inner circle, outer circle, third ring circle, none of that.
He had those. He had those 2 bodyguards. There's that story where he had 2 bodyguards outside of his room, and he went into bed and said, "Under no circumstances do you come into this room. I don't care who tells you. I don't care if the head of the KGB shows up here. I don't care if I tell you to. You do not come into my room." You're like, da. He goes in there. Half hour later, starts begging for him to come in. I'm in pain. I'm blah blah blah. But they finally both go in, and he goes, "You failed." And I'm both shot on the spot. Like they don't give a shit. You are property of the state. It's not just that there's no private property. It includes your body. So I don't know, man. But I also don't see anyone wisening up to that. I think the same way that they think real communism hasn't been tried, they're just going to walk into the blender themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what the kind of people that are attracted to that ideology. I mean, let's be honest. They're not rocket scientists. They're not, it's just not really how that works.
Yeah. You wouldn't be supporting that idea that everyone else is going to take care of you if you were competent on your own. No one who builds their own thing needs a group.
By the government, who's going to pay the taxes to pay for that?
Shut up, Joe. In the gulag.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you do. And now, 4 out of 4 podcasters agree that this works. Joe brings that up. I remove you. 3 out of 3. We're still at 100%. That's how it works, though. Decline into censorship. You just keep knocking it off. So, but now I have to. So when someone like me is doe-eyed and it's like, we're gonna still get out of this, and Dale's looking at me like, I'm gonna burn your body for fuel, and I'm like, it's okay, I'll serve in any way I can. And I look at that, right, and then I have on y'all, right, and you're much more just bleak. I think Clay said it last time. I'm like, we've been fucked before, and Clay's like, nothing like this, it's over. And I'm like, all right. So like, same thing. I have on someone else, and they're like, we're gonna get through it. And Dale's like, do you know how to boil water? Like, do you know anything, Tom? And I'm like, why? And he's like, Christ almighty. And I'm like, yeah. But then I look at someone, though, like who I've had on here 10 plus times and have had the luxury of meeting, is Joe Kent, who's no blue-pilled cuck like me. Right. And that guy is, successfully running for office. And that's a guy.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that.
Zing.
Unlike some people.
I didn't mean that. I meant he hasn't won yet. He won his initial thing. He still hasn't won the seat.
He won the hardest race.
No, but still hasn't won completely.
Okay.
Don't start.
All right, you're forgiven, but you're still on my shit. Your Christmas. I have one extra Christmas card now.
I'll have Dale kill you,
Ron. I've elected you the mayor of our safe house in South Dakota. There we go.
That's good. I got plenty of room, and I got range stakes already posted out.
Nice.
Did Joe or Clay ever interview you while you were running?
No.
Okay. I don't have a show.
How many people? Doesn't matter. I don't want to hear excuses. How many people here had you on to help you? Who tried?
Okay, Tommy, you win.
Yeah. Don't start me with it.
You burned that card though. That card's over.
Well, if you want, hey, listen. If you want to start throwing shade, I'll fucking go to war. I'm not gonna win, but I'll walk in there with an A-bomb strapped to my chest. Nobody will win. That being said,
you'll just die with a hernia, dude.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't fucking care. We all die anyway. I love how now I'm bringing up Joe running for and he's just probably thinking like, don't fucking mention my name in this podcast. As Clay's in his Faraday cage, we've got 2 flags, and Ron's talking. Ron has Talabar on his hat. Joe's just gonna block. I don't know them. I have no idea who they are. Those undesirables. Send them to Lubyanka. That being said, Joe's got a military history. He's not stupid. He's served. He's sacrificed. I mean, Shannon Kent, January 16th, 2019 in Syria. That guy knows. Now, part of me would think he has to do this, right? He has 2 kids. Like when I openly talk about suicide all the time, I have to. I lost a brother to suicide, so I have to always kind of approach that taboo thing that no one wants to talk. I have to say that I've been there myself. I've woken up in hospitals. I've had to live with my parents for 5 years and I get it. In that sense, I look at him and I'm not doubting his resolve at all. I wouldn't have had him on here and continue to have him on here if I didn't truly believe in him, and I'd love him as a person. He can't just go kinetic. He has kids that he has to, but I also don't think that that's the only reason. I got to imagine, and I don't know, maybe it's for Shannon, maybe it's for the kids, and I don't mean to use their names so informally. Obviously, I don't know them. I have to imagine he sees something that there is still a path, and maybe it's just we have to go down trying our hardest through the proper channels before it just goes, tits up. And I'll be dead immediately, so I won't see it. But thoughts on, so that's kind of like my canary, is I'm like, he's still trying. That guy's still trying.
I think you have to look at this as, even the 3 of us of very, various we don't see things exactly the same way.
Sure.
Right? The same thing goes to, anybody with our relative experience in our circles. We all have friends that don't see things the way that we see them right now. Now, I've actually been, I'm not saying that I was ahead. I've been like out here, like already, like the sky is falling before it was falling. So I'm not saying that I've saw things coming, but I've been ahead of the curve.
Sure.
As far as that goes. So not everybody sees things, equally. In different experiences, different minds will do that. As well as, there's a fair number of people that really are going out of their way, doing everything they can to possibly salvage it the way that it can be salvaged without, really bad stuff happening. And I think there's a fair bit of that in people like Joe and a few other veterans that are kind of, running for office right now. I think that's a reasonable assessment.
Yeah, I think it's also because, like, I have to do it my own way, not because I have like an idyllic view of it, although I do. I also view it as like, I know, like when I was deciding to be pre-med in college, I'm a white guy with blue eyes. I was raised Catholic, grew up in a well-to-do family, married parents, private Catholic school. I wasn't getting any exceptional treatment to get into medical school. There was no affirmative action for
You
me.
think?
Yeah. White guy, blue eyes in front of an American flag. And I'm like, I'd like to be a doctor. No one's giving me a fucking, I had a friend from Kenya, who's fucking base as shit. But I remember he looked at me, we're both in the same med school interview, and he goes, God, you're so fucked. And I was like, yeah. And granted, he actually did have better grades than me. So I'll keep it private. Shout out that guy. But so I knew early on that I had to use the only tools I had. It wasn't enough for me to be in the acceptable grade range. I had to eviscerate everyone. It wasn't enough for me to get an A. I had to have the highest grade in the class. It wasn't enough for me to get in the acceptable range. I had to score in the top 1% in the nation. I had to do all this stuff. And I did it. And that's all I did. I went to a party school. I went to one football game at the University of Georgia, and all my time there, all I did was study. And it worked. I did get in. So that's also kind of shaping my views in this is, if I was, if it was me and a fucking team of Delta Force guys, it might be like, we can fix this any way we want. But so I know who I am, right? I have a podcast and I'm wearing slippers. I've interviewed a ton of people who just happen to like to keep coming back on here. So that also shapes my view where I'm like, I have to use this method because I'm not getting in on affirmative action. So like, I have to use what I can do and just get the best grades. Failure's not an option. You have to just eviscerate your enemies. That's kind of what I'm doing with this is like, I can interview people respond to my emails. God knows why. That's like, I have to use this method. So that's kind of my logic where even if it is fucked, even if we are circling the drain, rationally, I know that this is the most I can do.
I think that the three of us feel this same way, and you probably do too, but we're not looking for a burning down of the system.
No,
they are.
Not.
What we're looking for is a restitution of the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah.
And there's a gap there that's not going to be breached by voting. I wish there were.
Yeah.
I wish there were. We've tried that the last two elections and they have gone completely insane over them. And then have the nerve to say that it's us that disputes these things, but whatever, I digress. So it's not that any of us want or hope for. We're just like, we've served in places around the world where similar things have happened and they all turned out this way. So if the last best hope on earth is experiencing the same problems that happened in, say, Yugoslavia or in, say, Somalia before their collapse, nobody even remembers when that was, but it did happen, or a million other places around the world. If it's happening here, then we know that, hey man, you might want to, I guess I'm going to go a quote from Odin, right? Odin the All-Father said this: only the fool lights the candles to peace, yet fails to sharpen his sword.
Yeah.
We can hope that things are going to get fixed, but it's dumb to not prepare while waiting.
Yeah.
Hope is not a koa.
Yeah. Be the
right.
warrior in the garden, not the gardener in the war.
Yes.
Oh, you're not
Right.
you're not wrong. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say about Joe. I mean, Joe is, he is, when he gets into Congress in January, he's going to be faced with, it's going to be like Ulysses and the Sirens. He's going to be faced with temptation, money, all sorts of things. But Joe is a man of deep character and conviction. I don't think they realize what's coming their way. And in fact, I would also say that I don't think some of the current Congress people, men and women who support Joe, realize that when Joe gets there, Joe is going to rule that group, that lobby of Congress people and things like that. I mean, if anything, Joe could be a leader that I think a lot of Americans could coalesce around. Your choice is really, do we do violence and burn the system down and just go totally, ashes to ashes, or do we try to rectify this. Yeah, there's going to be some violence. Yeah, there's going to be some pain, but it'd be like chemotherapy on steroids. We're going to have to, and Joe could be the leader to take us there because he's got that clear vision. He knows what is right and how to fix it. And so I mean, as I said multiple times, Joe is my political spirit animal. I mean, my race here was, local, and nobody really gave a shit about, offshoring jobs, China this, Russia that, Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was all about, my road is chip sealed only twice every 5 years. How come I don't get a chip sealed every year? I mean, the big issues of local politics. So it was hard to raise people's sight picture up to, hey, stop focusing on your feet. That's not going to make you feel good. Let's focus on the 5 meter target here, at least minimum, please.
People have not felt any pain yet, and that is a lot of the problem with what's going on. Like if you have any kind of vision, you can see where this is going. You can look and be like, oh my God. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. But unfortunately, like he's saying there, people are not going to do anything in this country until they feel some burn, some personal, like, ouch, that hurts. Yeah. Now maybe I'll think about correcting my path.
Yeah. It's all a luxury to argue about when you can still go get like a 90-cent burger and there's no censorship, like, and you're not being forced to take a vaccine from Pfizer. It is getting very real. It's getting very real. I mean, for everyone, left and right. And you just go to the grocery store. How much my rent alone has gone up 25% in the last 12 months.
It's impossible. I was just sure there was no inflation.
You have been a good comrade, and welcome to the inner circle. See, do we see the life lesson there? Joe brought up earlier, who's going to pay for the taxes? Now he's dead in the gulag. Do you notice how Clay said that he's never seen inflation? He is now at my right hand. Take note, peasants. Take note.
Well, Clay is a leader in the Red Pioneers. I'm expecting him with a red kerchief around his, and he's going to start goose stepping around his room there.
I've got a costume in case we lose. Like, I'm ready.
I'm fucking ready to. I'm ready to defect. I've already got my watercolor.
I'm Clay Martinez in that life. I'm a different person.
I know. I've already got. I'm not even because I can't be anything than what I am. So I've already got my watercolor painting of me and like a. Actually, a fan did make it's me in a Kim Jong-un suit smiling, and I have like kids smiling, and there's like the sun rising over the hill, and it says in like Korean like a glorious tomorrow. I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. I'll fucking whatever you need.
Tommy's our beloved leader. God.
I'll pivot. Yeah. But
so in other words, you're going to throw us under the bus.
Well, no, you guys will all be dead. That's when I'll do it. Is when you guys are gone.
I don't know. The Viking Lord of War of the Great Lakes is going to sea. I'm gonna be on the Great Lakes with a Coast Guard ship I've seized. And
sounds like a Lord of the Rings riddle. What? The Odin will return to the sea? I don't even know
that makes sense.
Are you speaking in code? Are you fucking activating people? Please.
It's not for you. It's not for you, Tommy.
It's not for me.
Just keep
Tommy.
I've seen our
John has a long
Ohio
mustache.
State flag on
him. I don't know. But I just, and it's also just like a personal, and I guess this goes back to like losing a sibling to suicide, which is like I never served. I never went over. So like my biggest like, face with like existential, like family shattering is like losing your brother to suicide. And like that fucks you. And I look at my own mindset and me staying, as much as I like joke about, like optimistic and positive, I have to, because in like the darkest days you just have to lie. Even if deep down, it's not true, you lie to yourself and say it's going to get better. And then tomorrow is, for the 800th straight day, today's the worst day of my life. And you're like, all right, but tomorrow is going to be better. And part of you is almost laughing. It's like, just give in and fucking kill yourself. It's not getting better. But I then zoom forward 8 more years. I've lost the weight. I'm my own boss. I do a podcast for a living. I don't live with my parents anymore. And I'm like, holy shit, the delusion worked. Like it's the gambling addict who just keeps doubling down. And one day he gets out of like debt and he's like, oh my God. So like from my own life experiences, which is the biggest truth I know is only from your own experiences, is that you have to keep pushing, even if it's just to keep a carrot in front of you. You have, and that doesn't mean stick your head in the sand and pretend there's nothing bad. but you have to believe it will get better. You have to push, because against all odds, like it can get better. And I'm not trying to refute what you guys are saying. You guys obviously have far more experience than I do with all of these things about, it's a collapse. It's just happening slowly. We're circling the drain. There's no coming, but you may very well be right. But I have to believe it can recover in some manner. And again,
you should start believing that we can win.
Yes.
Because the collapse part is happening. Now
and that's what I tell myself is
it's time to shift those gears of we're going to win though.
Yes. Well, and that's eventually that would happen is, again, addicted to a ton of drugs, unemployed, just a piece of shit. I have to tell myself, I'll be like, it's going to get better. Maybe it doesn't get better here. Maybe I do move home. Maybe my girlfriend does break up with me. Maybe it does suck. But what I start to shift was, I don't know how it's going to get better, but I tell myself it's going to get, and once you remove those stipulations, then I pray a lot. Then God kind of showed me that's my own cup of tea. It doesn't have to be for you. That's kind of how I shift now. Is I'm like, we're gonna win. I don't know what that looks like, and now I just tell myself we're gonna win, and I try not to dress it up and say this is how it will look. I don't know how it looks, but we're gonna win. So. Yeah.
Well, you got to have that positive attitude. You got to be ready for the opportunities that to help, drive the ball to the winning touchdown, whatever, to use the football analogy, which I hate. But
what if Joe just totally sells us all out? What if like immediately Joe's in the World Economic Forum? That would blackpill me.
Closer to the phone.
I would if Joe did that, I'd give Joe $1 to go up to what's his name there, old Cyclops boy, and take his eye patch and go pop.
Oh,
Danny boy.
So listen, if I ever end up in the World Economic Forum, it's to execute an operation.
I'm going to give you an S vest and off you go, Joe.
I would do it with those guys. But what I was going to say is that the problem is both sides think there's an auto win button, right? Both sides think that if you are snarky enough on Twitter, the other side will just give up. But unfortunately, it's going to take
not real,
right? It's going to take boots, sweat, and blood, and unfortunately, no one's prepared for that.
That's another thing I love about Joe is who's the reporter in the White House who is like, whatever, Pierre, like you said, questioning the election is un-American, but you questioned the Trump election.
Oh, Ducey.
And everyone's like, got her. And Joe retweeted, he's like, this means nothing. They don't care if you catch them. Like they don't care. Got him doesn't matter. You don't go, got him, and Biden goes, fuck, all right, I'll step down. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It literally could care less.
They don't. So that's the other thing. People are like, they don't care if you got them. They don't care. They have blue hair. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They'll be in the guard towers at Auschwitz, and you'll be like, look, his name's Hans. They don't care. They don't. Hey, look, the Zyklon B pellets are blue, just like their hair. Okay.
Hey, but at least, Tommy, we've got our principles. We can go to the gas chambers. We've got our principles.
Hey, that's what I was going to say. We're going to be the most self-sanctimonious people in the camps.
They're going to be fucking.
We showed them we didn't use.
We're all being squished up in the boxcars. Then I'll be like, well, I know for a fact my followers were organic. I never wanted to use bots. And Joe's going to be like, I respect that about you. As we're in fucking striped pajamas. Yeah, they ain't getting like, far.
Clay, that's not your pocket.
Yeah. You know what? I've never stolen anything. I know that I haven't eaten in 4 months, but I will not take bread that's not mine. Congratulations, retard. So I don't know. I don't even know what stance I'm coming down on.
It's the first rule of survival, to survive.
Yeah, not me. I'll die with honor.
You won't. It's not stealing if you take it from a guy who no longer needs it because he's dead.
Very true.
I'm just saying.
It's very true. Yeah. I don't even know where I'm coming down anymore. I'm just refuting everything I said 10 minutes ago. I'm like, there's a peaceful way out. And it's like, no, use everything to win. We're just documenting my real time schizophrenic.
You can't win. You can't win. Can you stand up against F-15s and M1 tanks? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And and furthermore, you don't even speak Pushtun, so you're absolutely lost.
Well, I'll start calling their bluff. I've gone 32 years, 1 month, and 6 days, and no F-22s have fucked me up yet. So riddle me that.
Put a counter on the podcast.
Riddle me. I'll if I can have a banner. It's been 32 years since our last accident with an F-15.
He looks over his shoulder at the window.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't fucking. Now, granted, they will eventually kill me as I interview more and more people that work on nuclear reactors and bioweapons. I imagine well, I think it was Dale one time who, like, it was always been like an inside joke. I got to go shooting with Dale once about like, oh, my name's on a server somewhere. I've pinged some NSA keywords, and then I've interviewed the head of the Soviet bioweapon program. I've interviewed a guy from Pantex where they assemble thermonuclear warheads. I think it was Dale one time said like, no, you've moved off. Like, you're a dossier somewhere now. And I was like, yeah. And he just kind of looked at me and was like, no, in all probability. And I was like, oh, all right. So,
well,
I don't know.
For the NSA guy listening, I just want you to know we are not all in the same physical location right now. So
that's right.
You guys all sell me short. They're like, this is Tommy's fucking podcast. I do like the idea of there being someone on the inside the NSA who artificially starts to make me trend and starts to give this podcast some growth, but it's not working. So either they're all communists.
You get this one fan that wants you to do it 3 times a week instead of once a week. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. Turn that server.
Dial it.
This is what you need to do. Yesterday should have been proof of this. You need to put that Trump is coming on your podcast, because if Trump does literally anything, it trends. Trump is in Washington, D.C. wearing golf shoes. Yeah, he played golf.
Fucking first, right? Yeah.
I've tried so hard to get him on. It's impossible. That is like an inner shield. You can't.
Get Kimberly Guilfoyle. That would be worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
I'm not even. I have a comment right here, but I'm just gonna let it go.
There you go. Good man. Good man.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Change her life anyway.
I'm sure Mrs. Dolio would have a thing or two to say about that.
Clearly, she's out crafting and she's nowhere nearby, so we're in good shape.
She doesn't know how to use
the warrior
internet
in this house. So even today over lunch, we're at a restaurant. She's like, "Why are you guys not doing anything?" And I'm like, "We are. Just calm down."
You're not going on that Tommy's podcast again. That faggot thinks we're gonna make it through here with the pen is mightier than the sword. You're like, no, I'm not. Joe texts me, he's like, can't
what she did ask, she goes, please tell me you and Tommy aren't doing the thing where you're wearing the jackets and the sunglasses and the masks.
Oh, it's coming.
We're saving that.
It's coming. It ain't Halloween yet. It's coming. There's a time and place for everything, and it may or may not be 48 days away. But
I might be a Patriot Front for Halloween. That sounds like a really fun idea.
That's exactly what we're doing.
But instead of the Patriot Front flag, we just get an Ohio flag because it's the same thing.
No, I want to be Patriot Front. That's
just wear my Gitmo interrogation uniform, my balaclava, and my.
There you go.
What if one of y'all dressed up as Patriot Front and then came on here and started spouting Patriot Front's new views, and no one could say that you're not Patriot Front because you're in your suit?
Who's got the least
not a bad idea.
With it? Like where your head is.
I think we could absolutely.
We need to address the fiction that is Ohio, and the fact that the Patriot Front logo bears an incredible resemblance to the Ohio state flag. I believe there's a connection there.
I'm actually going to take a moment. I'm going to look at the Ohio State flag. I don't even know that I know what it looks like.
They are almost identical.
Come on.
Would they have?
Oh, come on.
So they're exactly as real as Ohio.
You gotta be shitting.
So could we hijack it? Like, would they have to come out and publicly denounce what we said?
Well, what are they going to do? Like, take their mask off and be like, I'm actually.
That's my point.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? And I'm not even saying say terrorist shit. Come on here and start saying we're going to be more inclusive.
That's what's funny is they're the only terrorist group who, when they think no one is filming, everyone still wears a mask. Interesting.
That's a good
point.
That
is very interesting. That bust in Idaho was really weird too. Like, come on, man. Like, really, come on.
Dude, even Bin Laden showed his face on those old tapes.
Right, come on.
That's a good point. I don't know.
Yeah, we can. The Patriot Front guy can sit there and go, well, yes, we're becoming more inclusive. We're starting to import Filipino houseboys and Thai massage specialists.
Patriot Front is we're now merging with NAMBLA, and the Boy Scouts of America, and we are happy.
And and we're and the Lincoln Project is giving us some training in man boy love and whatever, minor attracted adults or whatever the bullshit
and cooler decorations, right? how to decorate your cooler properly.
Ron, it almost sounds like you've taken apart organizations like this without ever touching them. Anyway.
what would Ron know about that?
I have no idea. Yeah,
Ron doesn't know.
Congressional can't. Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Stop.
I don't know. Maybe we just need to dress up as Patriot Front, and we could put a green screen behind us, and it would just be we're all at Epstein's temple. Maybe that would
that's even better.
Maybe that would work.
That's awesome. I love it. God. That's so bad.
I don't know why we wouldn't just put ourselves right in the White House and be like, we have taken over.
Jesus Christ in heaven. Jesus Christ in heaven. I don't know, man. Maybe they'll come back on. And by come back on, I mean maybe they'll come on. Maybe
So Joe, are you gonna sit at the resolution desk and have it like a shot? Yeah, like if it's a presidential address and then the camera pulls back and there you see Kamala's legs from underneath the desk.
Oh my God.
Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, that's got to be like a petri dish going on now. And I'm not that interested in that.
I took microbiology. Don't fucking throw microbiology under the bus.
Monkeypox is probably the least of our worries there.
Probably not wrong. I mean, what if I don't know, maybe we should start giving speeches of like the same red background, and I'll have Independence Hall as a green screen, but then instead of the Marines, I'll have Patriot Front on either side of me.
That's hilarious.
That would be great.
That's what I'll start running for. Maybe I'll run for president. How old do you have to be?
35.
35? Oh, 35. Yeah, that's right.
I can't run.
You take your oath of office.
I can't run the next election. I'll run after that. I'll run for president. I don't give a shit. It'll work.
Well, that brings up a good question. There was a couple of news items today about Clinton and other Democratic advisors, former Clinton and Democratic advisors, worried that the red wave is actually going to be a deluge. I don't know if that's true or if they're just doing that to get more blue voters out there, whatever. But I mean, that brings up a point, with the ramp up of the rhetoric and this worrisome of the election. Will there be an election?
Yeah, that's
I'll point out someone's going around stealing guns from gun stores in ways which you never see in real life. So
that's also
there
true.
may not be.
That's also true.
You don't see those kind of smash and grabs anymore in gun stores. You really don't. And we had 3 of them in Detroit in 24 hours. Does somebody know that they need them in rather short order?
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like if you
as
really
available as guns are in Detroit, to actually do that signals a level of desperation. So,
Devil's that, are you saying that it's like an organic group or that it's like a false flag?
No, I'm saying that they want to arm a large number of people almost immediately, rather than going through their normal dark web channels to get two guns.
But even that, like again, just devil's advocate. I mean, if it's immediately and it is government backed, I mean, you wouldn't leave a footprint. You just have a plane landing in the middle of the night with a bunch of guns from fucking. No, these
guys just drove up. No. You wouldn't want to leave a marker like that. These guys just smashed through the front window. But I'll point out that those other shootings happened last week, and then yesterday there was some sort of a controversial shooting of a 16-year-old by the police somewhere in middle of America. I'm not sure where, but has the word gone out that, hey, this weekend we're going to rise up over this particular thing, and so these things happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just find it odd. Nobody does bulk thefts of guns anymore because they're so available everywhere else.
That's true. You got to wonder, and it's only a matter of time. It's going to be a thing, right? Where there's going to be a shooting with a 3D printed gun. That hasn't been a thing yet, right?
Well, I mean, how about the and I guess that one was made out of wood. Yeah, the ex-prime minister of Japan.
That was like a weird.
That was homemade. That wasn't 3D printed.
That thing was also kind of. I mean, all respect aside, that thing was kind of sick. Didn't it have like 8 barrels?
A 4 or something.
I had 2 barrels.
I thought it was a lot more than that. It looked like something.
I don't know. There's a lot of duct tape and baling wire and shit. But
I mean, I'm just, again, like rest in peace, Mr. Abe. But I mean, that thing was sick.
I
just
think
want to put
that
that out there.
Cristina Fernandez got pretty darn lucky on the night of the speech in Argentina.
Man. That was
dude had a squib load and saved her life. That gun was 1 inch from her face. Man.
Didn't that happen several years ago somewhere in like Eastern Europe? Remember that the guy go up and click, and it didn't work and he got tackled? Do you remember that? 2015, 2016.
This is the first one I remember seeing on film, but it was crazy. He's right. It was like, I mean, right there. And
right there, you see a little puff of smoke and oof.
Yeah. The odds of getting saved by a squibber, like, 1 in 5 million or something. Well, I don't know how cheap their ammo is, shitty is. But
didn't the guy who tried to kill Andrew Jackson have a double misfire? Didn't he go off with 2 revolvers?
No, that was different. That was different calibers of guns. I mean, with like modern ammo and stuff like that doesn't happen.
God, we need Andrew. We need. Can he be exhumed? Is that a crime to say we should exhume a president? I don't want to fucking get arrested. But I mean,
no, they're gonna say you're trying to resurrect racism if you exhume someone like Andrew Jackson.
That's very true.
I'm just trying to resurrect Andrew Jackson. That's it. I'm trying to save the $20 bill because of inflation. But if we get Andrew Jackson, we can get some of his DNA. Do you think you could do like I mean, we're getting to a point with biological growth, and if protein folding simulations are becoming an information technology, which itself grows exponentially, getting to a point where is Jurassic Park that far off to where could we or could we not resurrect Andrew Jackson? Because there is a double misfire on the guy that tried to kill him. Andrew Jackson then beat the shit out of him with his cane and was pulled off by his own men. And his last words were, "I killed the bank." I mean, he looked at Wall Street. He looked at the bankers, and he goes, "What's his quote? You are a den of vipers, and by the power of God, I intend to rout you out, and by God, I will rout you out." And then he did it. The
National Bank of the U.S. It was the first attempt at creating a Federal Reserve.
Yeah, his last words were, "I killed the bank."
Right.
Bring him back.
But I'm going to tell you who was even more badass was Teddy Roosevelt. He got shot and gave a speech while shot.
Yeah. Didn't someone write about him? They said death came and took him in his sleep, and the Reaper's lucky he was sleeping.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. No, I don't know, but it's going to be something like that. It's going to be a 3D printed gun. But then you have to question, like, they do seem very hell-bent on, but I feel like you can do it because right now, let's say you have someone shoots up from the right. Okay, so you have half the nation galvanized against the other half. Okay, that's effectively working if you want to tear the country apart. In terms of just sweeping laws, it seems like the move has always been false flag because you can galvanize 100% of the people to do it. No, we didn't need to divide the nation after 9/11. Everyone was for the Patriot Act, or in theory, right? Yeah. And as bad as that thing is, and it's still going, it's still being extended. You didn't need that. You didn't need to galvanize half the country against the other half. You just had Pearl Harbor, right?
But so you do if you need one party rule.
Yes, that's very true.
And that's what they want. Single party rule.
Yeah.
I pointed that out that the night of that speech, multiple party elections ended there because he laid the groundwork, and he laid it again today. He laid the groundwork to set aside any Republican win going forward by saying the Republicans are trying to steal your elections. Then over the weekend, they got a ruling from a congressional research service that said, hey, you actually can just declare people insurrectionists and not allow them to take office if they win, if they made any comment about January 6th that was supportive. That was a little blip in the news thing, but that's a bigger deal. That's saying now that if Joe Kent does get elected, they can say, Joe Kent came out and spoke in favor of those people in jail, so he can't take office.
Yep, give him the fig leaf of legality.
Yep.
Yeah,
and so this is a dangerous thing, and that will be more of a tipping point than anything else.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, I rarely use Reddit because it's just such a cancer, but I did remember it was right after that Biden speech. And if you're ever going to go on to like our politics, you just immediately go to sort by controversial. It's the only, it's been that way for 10 years. It's the only way you can see what's really good. The only way you don't see the bootlicker shit is just sort by controversial. And the top controversial vote or comment was at like -600. and it was this dude, and it said lifelong Democrat here, and then enter. Can we not refer to people as like bugs or diseases because the last time this happened was in Germany, and he was eaten alive? So that's kind of that's a little canary, where even the idea of let's not go this way because of the literal Nazis that we claim they are, despite the fact that we're funding Azov Battalion, it's let's torn apart. And it's the same thing every time.
Get me started on that.
It's the same thing every time. This time is different. It's the same. It's back to the starting of the concentration camps. Joe, what you said about Ordinary Men, another great book, Masters of Death, the SS Einsatzgruppen by Richard Rhodes. He's the author of Making of the Atomic Bomb. I've had him on here a couple times. He's a world-renowned author. That book is horrifying because it's the same thing. You have your mindset about the Einsatzgruppen and the mobile death squads. And they go around with vans, and the Germans would march through a territory. They would come in, and then they would put all the women and children and the elderly men inside like vans, and they'd gas them, or they'd put them like Bobby Yar. They'd dig huge trenches and then execute them all. It was called was it shoot? I can't remember, but it was a name for shoot him in the back of the head, and then you plank them like sardines. Yeah. And
the reason they had to create those groups is because the normal German soldiers, the Wehrmacht, refused to do that. They didn't want to.
And so on that note, you go from there and you can look at their actual journals. This isn't some interpretation. They're actual journals. And you can see from early on, they're talking about, so we executed these people yesterday, and Bob went off into the woods and like drank himself and like killed himself because he couldn't live with what he did. And, none of us can sleep with what we're doing, but they all start to finally go, this is bad. What we're doing is we're shooting women and children. These are not combatants, but they eventually, for their own, I suppose, sanity, and I'm not trying to rationalize them. What I'm pointing out is what's so scary about it is eventually they'd go, this is bad, but if we don't kill these kids, our kids will be fighting them on the battlefields. Now what they shifted is, and it's fucking maniacal, what they shifted is, it's not us killing, it's how much do you love your wife and your kids, which is infinite, right? I'm not married, I don't have kids, but I would imagine it's infinite. I look at how much I love my own family. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to have my own. And then it's, you'd do anything. You'd make any sacrifice, including I'll kill them so my kids don't have to kill them, or worse, they kill my kids. And that is what started to go. And as they went on, then you can see it start to morph to where we have to do this, to where, and then over years, there's not even a problem with it. We just do it. And then that's how they become the Einsatzgruppen. The mobile death vans, where they put the tube up from the exhaust to kill them. They started doing that, and they realized that they were having like less guys with PTSD because you didn't have to shoot these kids. Nobody saw it. It was just bodies in the van. That is what led to, can we make this a little more efficient? How about we have centralized locations? That's what led to the gas chambers. We often have this, and this is what Rhodes points out. We have this misconception that it's almost a meme, right? Well, that's just the Germans being efficient. No, they did it to have less eyeballs on it, less men touching it. That's why we did it. Is so no one had to, it wasn't an assembly line for efficiency. It was, if you had them come in a train car, you only have a conductor and a couple guards. All right. So you can greatly increase the ratio of prisoners to SS guys, throw them all in there, shave all their heads. You bring them into the showers, you shut the lid so no one even sees them in the showers. They soundproofed them because every once in a while, I think Himmler came and watched it, and Himmler went and threw up. So they couldn't even handle it. So the thing is you put them in there, and then when you open it, they're dead bodies, but there's no blood. And then they'd have Sonderkommandos, which were other Jews. They'd get benefits. They'd get extra bread and soup if they went and pulled the bodies out. So the entire creation of this thing started from, I have to do this so my kids don't have to do it. So now you dilute it and say it's out of love. And then you create the concentration camps, not just for centralized death camps, but we have walls around everything. It's all compartmentalized. And then we have the Jews bury them and put them in. The Jews operated the ovens. And so the entire thing, it looks like they're just demons. These were dudes who convinced themselves that they're doing it out of love. And they created the concentration camps out of love for their own brothers. I don't want you to have to go through what I went through killing these people. And when you look at that, When you look at that and then you see people commenting, this time's different. These are a bunch of anti-vaxxers. I'm trying to save grandma. Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. This is in 80 years, there's going to be a podcast. They're going to be going, did you know they actually didn't want to kill him? They thought it was because they were saving people from COVID, and people are going to be, no, they didn't.
This is a more common recurrence throughout human history than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of it.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all steps to genocide. I mean, it's how it's done. I mean,
it's
documented
exactly
stuff.
how it's done.
Dehumanization.
If you go into the former Yugoslavia, same thoughts, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah. What's buried over there? Oh, those are a bunch of the Bosnian Muslims. Oh my God. Well, they're not really people.
Yeah. And there's a story of one of the Einsatzgruppen driving one of the top Nazi officials out, and they're going through this town where they had just killed 30,000 men and women and children, and they're going like, oh, you did even, because then they got really good at like burying the ditches, so you couldn't even tell it happened. And he said that, and this guy was, I think, had like, when you walk in where like my own like kitchen, it's just set up the same. And like I realized like last night I like shut the fridge too hard. And I like knocked, like I have like a cooler on top of it and it shifted. And I walked in this morning and instantly looked at it and it's like I saw the blue side instead of the white side. Your brain just kind of picked something up a little different. Apparently this general had been to this town a million times. I don't know if he grew up nearby, but he was like looking around at the landscape and he goes, what are these hills? And he goes, those are the gases. He goes, and the guy goes, here lie my 30,000 Jews. The earth was actually bubbling up with the graves of these people who they killed because we're looking after our own sons.
The decomposition.
Yeah. And that to me is so much scarier than just an evil guy with a mustache. We're going to kill them. They're not. It's so much scarier when it's like, I didn't even want to do it, dude, but I did it for my son. That's terrifying.
I mean, Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge, took the Cambodians out into the jungle and just waxed them.
Heck yeah.
I mean, and Stalin takes his people out into Siberia and they die in service to the state. But I mean, Clay's absolutely spot on.
Mengele's own journal, I think it was Mengele, said the Jew is interesting because although it has 2 eyes and 2 ears, opposable thumbs, and even a primitive brain, it is not actually a human. That was in the top medical. Germany was a leader in medical innovation.
Yeah. I mean, if a Rwandan wrote a medical book about Tutsis, he would say the same thing.
We do that all the time. We have to dehumanize our enemy. We don't call them Afghans or Iraqis. We call them ragheads or whatever. And sure. We do something to dehumanize them to make them not seem like human beings. And they're the enemy, and they're trying to kill me and hurt my buddies and everything like that. So I'm going to try to do it to them first, but we do that I guess it gives us that emotional wall to, not realize or not acknowledge what we're doing. And that's how that's where PTSD and all that stuff erupts. Sorry, my dogs are erupting in the background if you can hear it.
That'll be the FBI.
No, they came for him first. Good. I gotta go.
No.
If it was the ATF, you wouldn't hear the dogs.
Jesus.
The dogs would be chomping on them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You start to do that. Unit 731 in Japan, they called the Manchurians Maruto, which means log. We're using logs for our experiments. Oh, this log came to Ebola.
Yeah. I mean, we did it in Vietnam. The slopes, the slant eyes, whatever.
Sure.
Somalia, the skinnies.
Yeah. They're chewing.
They really
they're high. They're yeah. Do you know one of my?
It was descriptive.
Do you know? At least it was accurate. I mean, but it's like
you can't lift an AK to shoot you higher than the kneecap. You'll be okay.
So I had on Mike Durant, episode 95, so almost 800 episodes ago, and we're talking about his own accounting of it, his book, In the Company of Heroes. And he talks about it. We all know the scene from the movie where he's, stalking his MP5. Shugart and Gordon are dead, and he's firing. And he calls they called the MP5 the skinny popper, which I thought was funny. Is whatever. I mean, I'm not making light of war. It's horrible, but I brought that up in the episode, and I was like, yeah, the skin. And he talks about it in the book like very seriously. He's like, I think I killed that man, and like he doesn't say like I got him. He was like, that's when I realized like just how real this was. He goes, I think I killed that man. And so back when I believed that I was just, if I crossed 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I could get monetized. I was like, it's only a matter of time. Like they're not gonna fucking shadow ban me. Like fucking retard. That's no, the Nazis are really looking out for us. Like Shlomo, all right, buddy. But I put that on there and I tried to get an ad running on it, and they've said that like it was I couldn't because I was inciting violence, and I said why, and they physically wrote back and they said the line about the skinny poppers, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Like here's a guy like recounting his story, like one of the most harrowing like modern military stories, and they said I was calling for violence.
Hey, my first video, I got a notice from this was me being smart. My first YouTube video, I show a guy getting shot in the head by a cop. So I started out on the wrong foot.
That's one strike.
He fumbled,
and I said the cop was in the right. And
yeah.
Oh
well. I mean, dude, I don't know. So is there any like positive takeaway from this? Again, I back my it really is like my own like mental break as I just find myself arguing with myself. I'll start the episode and be like, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate, like there's a happy way out of this, and an hour later it's like it's all fucked. They think they're doing the right thing. We're gonna end up in the Bobby Yar pits.
And this is
I don't even know
what day drinking when this is done. Yes.
I think I'd be a great politician. Yeah, there's no accountability. I can, like, with fervor, argue opposing points less than an hour apart. Maybe I just need to accept that and just go become a DC whore.
Well, there you go.
Hey, well.
So it wouldn't be me if I
could be the white AOC.
I could. Goddamn right, I could be.
You're just as hot as her, bro. Just as hot. You need the boobs.
Stop it.
So it wouldn't be me if I didn't do it this way, right? I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to go with the tactical wisdom, biblical aspect. So there's two things.
The links to the books of tactical wisdom will be in the description on Amazon. You're welcome.
Absolutely. So in Judges 6, there's a guy named Gideon, and their country's been invaded and overrun by the Midianites, and they're just literally oppressing them, killing people in the streets, yada, yada, yada. And an angel appears and says, Gideon, you're going to lead the army that's going to fight these guys. You're going to overthrow the oppressor. Stop me if this sounds familiar. So Gideon says, yeah, but like we all do, shouldn't somebody else do it? And if you were really an angel of God, why did God let this happen? Why didn't he send someone else? That's where we are right now. We're all at the White and got someone else. The angel replies, am I not sending you? There's a conviction there for all of us, right? We have to do this ourselves. We can't wait for a white knight, as Don the Pleb says, the white knight on a big white horse with a big white sword is going to come and save us all. It's not going to happen that way. And the last piece I'll throw from the Bible is James 5:17. It says this, or 4:17. It says this: if a man knows the good he ought to do and doesn't do it, that counts as sin for him. So we know the good we ought to be doing right now. It is not allowing our children to go to drag shows. We ought to be opposing that violently, and I don't care what they say. We should be, and we're not. And I think we need to understand they're sending us, and we need to do what we should do. So, the FBI is literally behind you, Ron.
Well, that's the Sink House.
Wait, is that Patriot Front? You got the guys show this week?
Ron's
They're here to deliver his shield and his hoodie.
Ron's been on the inside
hoodie.
the whole time. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
according to some podcasters, I am the resident Fed glowy. So yeah.
Well, that's true.
There's only 2 glowies ever to be in touch with this podcast. The first was a guy that emailed me, I think, right after I interviewed Dale for the first time. Right, Dale's youngest ever member of Delta Force, Ground Branch. And somebody emailed me, they're like, dude, I love your podcast. It got me fired up. I was like, cool, man. Thanks. Like, thanks for subscribing. He's like, but I think you need to stop talking. And now that you've got like a system of warriors, you need to actually physically meet up. And I was just like, All right, dude. And that.
And can I bring you a homemade silencer to give you on camera?
Yeah. And then we can smoke some crystal meth and talk about how bad that. All right, buddy.
Hey, speaking of Dale, whatever happened with his
To the situation,
at Los Angeles airport?
Still working on it. It's going well. Talked to him on actually 2 days ago about it.
Okay,
on Sunday.
good.
It's going very well. Yeah,
okay.
We're gonna fucking win. And Dale looks you in the eyes and goes, "I'm gonna fucking win." I'm like, "I know you are. I'm not. You don't need to tell me that."
Yeah, he doesn't know how to lose.
Dale's getting jacked up. He's like, "Tom, I'm telling you." I'm like, "Dale, you don't need to convince me of anything. I don't know why you're like you need to convince me of anything." This is the first side story. First time I ever had Dale on. He called me the next day at like midnight because he lived in Bali at the time, and he was like, "You know how like he's like, guns are a lot like landmines," and I was like, in bed, and I'm like, "Dale," and he was like, "Guns are a lot like landmines." He's like, "They're easy produced, they're cheap, and you can disseminate them over a physical area, and it causes it leads to a denial of occupancy by a foreign nation." And I was like, "That's really good, man." I was like, "Thanks again for coming on my podcast. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?" But Dale always gets jacked up, and I'm like, "You don't need to explain shit to me, Dale."
Oh yeah, he did. I think I got in 3 words when I was on the podcast with him.
Yeah, no, Dale's a fucking. I got to shoot a mod deuce with Dale, and I was like shooting. It was like going through the metal targets. I was like, "That's so fucking cool." And I was like, "Did body armor stop that?" And he goes, "No." And I was like, "Hummer?" And he goes, "No." I go, "Up armored Hummer?" And he goes, "No." It was like maybe an MRAP, and it's on video. And I'm sitting there, and I go, "So I can. This is probably pretty useful for when you need it." And he just looks at me and goes, "What?" Like, of course it is. Why else would we have a 50 cal? But you just see me like, "Oh, a gun is probably good if you can't actually punch him." He's just looking at me like, why did I fight for this kid? But the point is, fucking, I don't know why Dale keeps maybe like I'm like a lap dog. I'm like
I think you're obsessing. I think you're a fanboy.
I love Dale. I'm
a little bit of
shamelessly
fanboy action, bro.
Yeah. Hey, meet Dale and tell me you're not a fan.
I'm a fan.
Dale's
but I just want to make sure when you're
kills.
firing the mod deuce, and were you grabbing the butterfly triggers, or were you going down lower and grabbing the Tommy Johnson?
I don't know. I know I did it how he showed me. So I was like sitting down with my feet.
Okay.
You put the thumbs on that.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah.
Did he teach you machine gun math too, and about timings? No.
He just said shoot forward. Don't like aim it backwards. And I was like, no.
Okay.
It was like where you like play with a cat and you like put your hand under a blanket and start moving it. You know how their eyes just go black. I don't know if you've ever seen that. You can see like the primitive thing comes out.
People style it, yeah.
Yeah, Dale. I mean, just like a shark. That Dale gets on it and just kind of quiet, soft spoken the whole time. He gets on it, goes doo, 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 and you just see this like vein appearing in his head, and he goes, "Die commies!" He starts shooting. The tracers are going through trees and shit. And I was like, "This is fucking awesome." But to pivot from there, I mean, even Dale's not giving up, and that's like you said,
it's not in our nature, his or ours.
Yeah, it's and whether it's what Joe said. I mean, I think that's what Joe Dolio said, but I think that was like one of Kent's original things was like, "Send me, oh Lord." Stop looking around and going, "Who else would do it?" And it's, hey, shouldn't you be sending someone who can do it? And it's like, why do you think I'm tapping on your shoulder?
Well,
and it's like,
in Joe Kent's very first video when he announced his candidacy for Congress, he quoted, that famous, "send me" thing that, all of us in special ops have, everybody's adopted it. No, it's my Bible verse, not yours. But, but he said something, if not me, then who? You. And he looks right at the camera, and he's basically challenging you to, like, shit or get off the pot. And so I mean, that was a strong opening, and he's continues to do good things.
And if that guy hasn't succumbed to just nihilism, that I really don't think anyone else has an excuse.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, the other thing I think that I mean, Joe's been a very strong individual since, he joined the Army and the regiment, and then, and then SF, and then the special ops community and so on. But I think when he was in Dover and he was, alone with Shannon's casket, and, he was mourning, and suddenly there's the way he describes it in this one podcast, there's a knock on the door, and Trump pokes his head in and says, "Joe, can I talk with you? Can I sit with you?" I mean, and I think that helped galvanize Joe. He suddenly realized what it was all about. I mean, not that he didn't know what it was all about, but what there was things bigger than him, than Shannon, than his loss. And Joe, you can kick my ass, if you hear this and you think I'm totally effed up, but and I think he suddenly realized that Trump represented something, that a remedy to fix what ails this country, and it's been ailing us, for what, 50, 60 years, and and that's why he took up the crucible to. I had to throw in crucible for the Marines area. Okay. So, and
yeah, look at that.
I've expanding my vocabulary. Now I'm going to use crayons.
For most of us, the crucible is not a pleasant memory, but carry on.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's all right. I mean, in the Air Force, it was like, you got to bowl at least a 200. Otherwise you had to repeat basic training. So
I've had such a wildly different life than all of you, because to me, crucible is from organic chemistry. It's never mind. I'll shut up.
So when he's done with his podcast, he's going to go back to his fentanyl lab, and start crushing it up. And
if I knew how to fucking make fentanyl, I wouldn't be doing a podcast. Jesus Christ. My name would be Tom Jwin Lee, and I'd be living in Shanghai, filling up little boats with fentanyl.
You'd be living on Epstein's Island, going, "Yeah, boy, did I get some."
Absolutely would. That was an idea for a podcast I had, was to cover the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, but because the author's dead, I just discuss it and never once mention. But I wanted to get like in a dinghy and do the podcast just in the waves with the temple behind me and just go through Win Friends and Influence People. Told my mom that, and she said, "Please don't." And I said, "Okay." And so, respect you, Mom. But Clay, we'll let you close this one out. Closing thoughts on this. How I mean, all doom and gloom we've talked about. But,
yeah, man. Look, the doom and gloom is part of the realization that you point your head into the sand, you see things are going to be bad. That doesn't mean that we can't win. We are going to win. But that's how. I mean, that's how it has. You don't need to take the black pills, but you need to realize, okay, it's going to suck for a little bit, and then we're going to be okay.
Yep.
But you brace yourself for the suck part, and then you keep yourself going with the we're going to win part, and that's how you look at it. But that's the only way forward.
Yeah, it's like it's a little bit of like checking your own ego.
Yeah,
you got to go, do I really think in all of human history I'm being served up the dish that can't be handled? And not just like I'm stronger, but like, you think you're that important. It's like there was a guy, Terrence McKenna, who I love. He's this ethnobotanist philosopher. He died back in 2000. Just psychedelic guy. And he created this whole theory of like how the world works, and it's called time wave zero or something. He's trying to make it with math and whatever, but the biggest criticism is like the creation of the universe was on his birthday. And I think his brother goes, "Terrence, this is the only time I got to tell you, like, are you sure this isn't a little in your own head?" Like, it's kind of ironic when you get to that point. That's how I try to look at it. I go,
so he's the Timothy Leary of your generation.
Yeah. So I look at it and I go, am I really at the point that it can't? All from fucking swinging from trees to the agricultural revolution to the pyramids to written language to flight to napalm falling out of the sky to the internet. I've come up to bat, and it's the unwinnable game. Wait, what a lucky cop out! What a perfect way to launder my own pussification to go. Can't be done.
And you can solidify that pussification by driving solo in your Prius wearing a mask. No, wearing a double mask
with a shield.
Double.
Patriot.
You got to have at least 5 hanging from the rear view.
Yes.
Yeah. And a Lloyd Austin Memorial face shield. Yeah.
Right.
fucking Patriot Front. Is there a coincidence that Patriot Front begins with PF and so does Pfizer? I don't think so. I don't know what their connection would be, but I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now.
On my board right now.
I'm calling it right now. They're funded by Pfizer. They are a paramilitary elite team for Pfizer. I haven't quite fleshed out this conspiracy. I'll need to make it up.
I know you looked it up, Clay. Was I wrong about the flag in Ohio?
No, man, you were totally right. That's insane. That is absolutely. I didn't, because I've never been. I didn't even know Ohio had a flag, but now I do.
Exist, but yeah.
Wait, they're an elite paramilitary organization. Oh my God, I'd like.
We're gonna be just fine. We're gonna.
No, I said CIA, not CIA. Pfizer funded. Did I said elite?
Yeah, you did
say elite.
Well, I don't know.
Roll the videotape.
Well, I guess in terms of people who've been with myocarditis, they've got to be pretty elite. So I don't know. If you can't get better than everyone else, might as well destroy their hearts so you can be better, right? Why get better when you can just lower the playing field? Right. They're a wing of Pfizer. I'll make that. I'll take that slander to court. That will be good for my podcast.
I like that one. I like that one.
High profile fight with me and Pfizer.
Watch, neither one's going to deny it.
Ooh, that's a good point. Well, that's all I got. Takeaways from this podcast is go get Tactical Wisdom, Prairie Fire. We are going to win. It's probably going to be dark for a while, and stay positive. And yeah, you're not the one person in human history that you've been served up the toughest game. It is not. I'm sure everyone in human history has probably felt that, and then they all grab their balls and go, "Fuck off! Just keep working." So,
right on.
With that, gentlemen, thank you so much. I'll put the links to all your Twitters in the description. Go follow them. They're a fucking hoot. And till next time, much love. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Dolio, Ron Moeller, Clay Martin. Thank you so much, everybody. God bless America. Stay